Welcome to Customer Service for the Service Technician, a video series designed to provide key examples of the essential skills and habits needed to be successful in your career. After all, there is nothing more important to the customer than customer service. As service technicians, we often get so caught up in developing and honing our trade that we often forget the number one reason that we exist: to service the customer. So let's take a moment to drop the technician and focus on the service. Perhaps the most important part of good customer service is communication. The methods that we use to communicate include speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Each method has advantages and disadvantages. For instance, by speaking, you can directly see if a message is understood and deliver your message immediately. But you can't take back what you say, and one person may dominate the speaking role. By listening, you can receive information very quickly, and it allows for clarification, but this is subject to interpretation and limited by an individual's listening ability. Using reading, you can replay the content over and over until it's understood, and it maintains a source of reference. But it's easy to dismiss certain parts as being unimportant, and of course, there is no body language available to support the message. With writing, the advantages are that it can be edited to refine your thoughts and provides a permanent record, but it's also hard to convey tone, easy to misunderstand, and can be time-consuming. All of these methods should be used appropriately and in conjunction with each other to maximize your communication effectiveness.
Did you find it nice?
Oh yeah, no, it was fine. I had a little traffic.
Oh, yuck.
I'm sorry about that, miss. Our freezers are down right now.
Looks like we got a problem here.
You could say that. This isn't the first time this has happened. I've gotten several calls from customers about soft ice cream.
Is this the best place to talk, or is there someplace we can go?
We go to my office.
There's lots of communicating going on during a service call. Make sure you have a quiet, private place to have a conversation with the customer. This will help avoid either party from being distracted while gathering the important facts of the service call. Asking appropriate questions is the best way to uncover the customer's expectations and concerns. It will also help you gain rapport with your customer by actively listening to their needs. It is important to understand the 4 appropriate question types. Closed-ended. Simply put, these are questions that can only be answered with yes or no. Open-ended. This type of question cannot be answered with a yes or no, but usually include the words who, what, when, where, why, or how. Fact-finding. These kinds of questions can be open or closed and are used to gather more facts. Feeling-finding, or rapport-building questions. Feeling-finding questions tend to uncover the most information because they deal with emotions by using words like think, feel, like, or believe.
Does this usually happen on excessively hot days?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, about what time of day? Late afternoon?
Yeah.
How has this impacted store business?
Well, we've had some customers that after shopping here, once they got home, they found their groceries in a pool of melted ice cream.
Well, the reason I ask is because I don't want to further impact store business while I service the equipment. Do you recall the last time the condenser was cleaned?
Yeah, about 6 months ago.
Did you hear the closed-ended, open-ended, fact-finding, and feeling-finding questions in this scenario? By using appropriate questions, the technician has not only gathered detailed facts needed to fix the equipment, but also build rapport with the customer. Let's watch again.
Does this usually happen on excessively hot days?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, about what time of day? Late afternoon?
Yeah.
How has this impacted store business?
Well, we've had some customers that after shopping here, once they got home, they found their groceries in a pool of melted ice cream.
Well, the reason I ask is because I don't want to further impact store business while I service the equipment. Do you recall the last time the condenser was cleaned?
Yeah, about 6 months ago.
Believe it or not, most people only retain about 10% of what they hear. Active listening can improve your retention rate. When you engage in active listening, you are working to understand what the other party is trying to convey, and you take responsibility for understanding the message.
So, as I understand it, the freezers are having a hard time keeping the ice cream frozen enough to make it home on a hot afternoon, is that right?
You got it.
I'm sorry to hear that. I can see how that would impact store business. But let's see if we can't fix your problem.
That would be fantastic.
By actively listening to the customer and restating his concerns, there's no question of what the problem is and what's going to be done about it. Some active listening techniques are: look at the person when they are speaking and use appropriate body language. Listen for feeling and meaning, not just facts. Resist distractions. Take notes. When the person stops talking, briefly pause to make sure that they're done. Question, clarify, and restate the statement to your customer to ensure that the information is accurate. Active listening is like a muscle. The more you work at it, the stronger it becomes. Another important skill set for communicating with customers are skills that we've been taught since grammar school: reading and writing. Use reading to inform yourself of your surroundings, follow up with paperwork, or learn proper procedures.
Since this is your first time in our store here, I should go over our policies. This is our handbook for working in the store. I'm going to need you to read this and sign off on it before you leave today. Also, if you need any service or operational manuals, we store those in our mechanical room.
Okay, that sounds helpful. See here that I need to get a permit before any brazing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any open flame work back there, you need a permit.
Could you go over some more of these policies with me? Because we work with a lot of different people and I want to be clear on your specific policies.
Sure. I think the most important policy...
Reading is a critical and endless source of information for a service tech. Make sure that you read any pertinent manuals, policies, and procedures for the environment you'll be working in. This is just one more communication receptor in your customer service toolkit.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Excuse me, have you seen Jim?
Yes, he went to the bank to make a deposit. He'll be a while.
Okay, well, I found the problem with the ice cream freezer. I checked the EPV regulator and found that you were low on 409A, and I also found that the suction side of the system was actually working in a vacuum. I'm sorry. Basically, I added refrigerant and replaced a bad valve, and now the freezer should give you the cooling power to keep the ice cream frozen, okay?
Okay.
Do you think you could give Jim a copy of my report?
Sure.
I appreciate it. I just listed my hours and then noted the parts that I used and the status of the job, but I also wanted to alert Jim that it's very important that he get that condenser cleaned. So if you could just sign here, and I'll leave a copy of that with you to give to Jim, and I'll follow up with him tomorrow. Thanks, Judy. I'm Mark.
Speak the customer's language by determining their level of knowledge. A conversation regarding service with an engineer is going to be much different than one with a layperson. You don't want to ruin the rapport you've worked so hard to build with your customer by confusing or oversimplifying the problems and solutions. Write down and verbally report any recommendations that you can follow up with later on. Use writing as a tool for effective communication by documenting your service call properly. This includes being neat and legible, being complete with paperwork, and verifying that it gets into the right hands. Written paperwork makes people keep their word, forces action, and has a better chance of being acted on than one that is spoken. The service call follow-up is a great opportunity for you to make sure the paperwork got into the right hands. Confirm that the customer understands everything in your report. Gather additional information about the customer's future needs and make further recommendations to the customer.
Jim!
Oh,
Mark.
Mark, hey.
Hey, I was just up the street working and I figured I'd stop by and follow up to make sure Judy gave you my report.
Yeah, I have it here somewhere. Yeah, right here.
You can see I added refrigerant and replaced a bad valve, and I noted the parts that were used and my hours.
Yeah, great. I did talk to my stock manager today. He said the ice cream freezers are working perfect.
Then you should be good to go. But I would definitely have us back to clean that condenser. I mean, that would be another preventative measure that would prolong the compressor life and reduce your operating costs.
Okay, how's next Monday for you?
Perfect.
All right,
Excuse
well,
me?
thanks, great.
Thank
I
you.
see you got your cooler fixed.
We did. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good customer service is a skill in itself, and as you've seen, communicating with your customer is another way to establish a healthy relationship during the service call. Like any skill, it takes some work to hone, but eventually it should become second nature, an extension of yourself and your own personality.